About Jared and Ivanka, the Washington Post reported, instructed not to use any of the half-dozen bathrooms inside the couple's house. The Secret Service detail assigned to President Trump's daughter and son-in-law spent months searching for a reliable restroom to use on the job.
They're too lowbrow for you to allow in your house to use the toilet.
We have spent more than $100,000 on a basement studio. This is taxpayer money across the street just so these Secret Service agents can go to the bathroom while protecting the first whatever the hell they are.
To begin with, Trump promoted the Save America rally as a historic day, sharing this video on Twitter.
Every single thing that has been outlined as the plan for today is perfectly legal.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party. This is the Republican Party that's not just gonna roll over and die because the Democrats would like you to. We've been our own worst enemy. All you gotta do is look to Georgia, where you had Republicans saying, well, I don't like the way the game is played, so let's take our ball and go home. And that is what so many in the Republican establishment have created, that sort of mentality. Okay, we'll turn the other cheek. We'll roll over and die. No more!
Now, our ancestors sacrificed their blood, their sweat, their tears, their fortunes, and sometimes their lives to give us, their descendants, an America that is the greatest nation in world history. So I have a question for you. Are you willing to do the same?
So to those Republicans, many of which may be voting on things in the coming hours, you have an opportunity today. You can be a hero, or you can be a zero. And the choice is yours, but we are all watching. We got to start fighting like the Democrats do, right? We got to play their game. We got to take their fight to them their way.
It's almost like this election is shaping up to be church, work, and school versus rioting, looting, and vandalism. Or, in the words of Biden and the Democrats, peaceful protesting.
Stay in this fight. Stay loud. Don't be suppressed. Don't be put in your corner. One of the great fighters out there, red-blooded, patriotic Americans. Thank you for being in this fight with us.
If they ran such a clean election, they'd have you come in and look at the paper ballots. Who hides evidence? Criminals hide evidence. This election was stolen in 7 states. They picked states where they had crooked Democratic cities, where they could push everybody around, and it has to be vindicated to save our republic. This is bigger than Donald Trump. It's bigger than you and me. It's about these monuments and what they stand for. This has been a year in which they have invaded our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, our freedom to move, our freedom to live. I'll be darned if they're going to take away our free and fair vote. And we're going to fight to the very end to make sure that doesn't happen.
We, American patriots, are not going to take it anymore.
Go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass. Louder, are you willing to do what it takes to fight for America? Louder, will you fight for America? we, American patriots, are going to come right at them. That we, American patriots, are going to take America back, cause socialists and weak-kneed Republicans on Capitol Hill to shake in their boots and cower in their foxholes. And the fight begins today.
So, let's have trial by combat.
Fake news media, turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are not going to take it any longer.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
We're gathered together in the heart of our nation's capital for one very, very basic and simple reason: to save our democracy. They say, sir, in 4 years, you're guaranteed. I said, I'm not interested right now. Do me a favor, go back 8 weeks. I want to go back 8 weeks. Let's go back 8 weeks. We want to go back and we want to get this right, because we're going to have somebody in there that should not be in there, and our country will be destroyed, and we're not going to stand for that.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And we want to be so nice. We want to be so respectful of everybody, including bad people. And we're going to have to fight much harder. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. It's much more important today than it was 24 hours ago. Fraud on a scale never seen before. In no state is there any question or effort made to verify the identity, citizenship, residency, or eligibility of the votes cast. This is the most corrupt election in the history, maybe of the world. And prohibit the use of unsecured drop boxes to commit rampant fraud. These drop boxes are fraudulent. If we allow this group of people to illegally take over our country, because it's illegal when the votes are illegal, when the way they got there is illegal, when the states that vote are given false and fraudulent information. But now the caravans, they think Biden's getting in. The caravans are forming again. They want to come in again and rip off our country. Can't let it happen. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
USA! USA! USA!
Even as lawmakers and people inside the building were pleading with Trump to send help, he refused. In fact, his aides couldn't even tear him away from the TV.
A behind-the-scenes report on the president's activities during the riot that he helped set off. Multiple sources tell the Washington Post Trump was busy watching the violence on TV and couldn't be reached, not even by close allies in Congress, calling him desperately in fear for their own lives.
The Post spoke to 15 people with knowledge of Trump's actions during those 6 hours of mob rule and found Trump to be a man who didn't care, even as Republican lawmakers begged him to speak out.
There's new Washington Post reporting. He was hard to reach, and you know why? Because it was live TV, said one close Trump advisor. If it's TiVo, he just hits pause and takes the call. If it's live TV, he watches it. And he was just watching it all unfold.
It was apparently even worse than that. According to the Washington Post, Trump had not wanted to include the final instruction to stay peaceful in his tweet during the riot. He wanted his supporters to disrupt the counting of the electoral votes through violence. And even when his aides managed to get through to him, Trump refused to help because he was enjoying it so much.
He was engaging with aides as this was all going on. They were interrupting, telling him that he had to do something. They were interrupting, telling him that the Capitol was being overrun by his supporters. He was well aware of it. He was watching it. He was pleased because it was people fighting on his behalf. He was pleased because he liked the scene, and he was pleased because it was delaying the certification of the Electoral College vote. And those are the reasons why this happened. He knew what was happening. He was back and forth from the small dining room where he watches television off the Oval Office to the Resolute desk. He just didn't want to do anything.
We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. This was a fraudulent election. But we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special.
We love you. You're very special. We love you. You're very special.
Trump supporters took a crap on American democracy. I mean this literally.
Congressional staffers saw feces in the hallway. Some of them urinated on the floor during the rampage.
Put their feces, their own feces, and smeared it in the Capitol.
They took the poop out of the toilet, and then they went to spread it all over Congress, the halls of Congress. They put it on the floor, and they started to track their shoes in it. That's a superior race? Look, I'm just calling what they say.
We love you. You're very special.
I just hope that they wash their hands after.
And right now, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump are pariahs. They are detested. And the question is it worse to be hated because your father-in-law incited an insurrection against the U.S. Capitol, or is it worse to be hated because you would not let the Secret Service use one of the 6.5 bathrooms in your own home?
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!